Sally, I believe Christians reckon that they can actually justify going to war, even though in the Ten Commandments it says do not kill. So how do they get that idea?
In Christianity they have a set of criteria that they use, and if a war is deemed to meet all of that criteria, then in Christianity they would justify that.
Okay, and that's called the just war theory, isn't it? And who comes up with that?
Well, originally St Augustine came up with some of the ideas, but St Thomas Aquinas, you'll remember him.
Yeah, Thomas again. Good.
Yeah, he developed the theory and really put it in place to what we have now.
Okay, so I'd like you to take us through the 6 different points that Tommy comes up with.
Right, so first one is the war must be declared by a legitimate authority. So we'd probably see that as more kind of like a government that's in place. So,
okay, so not an individual or anything like that.
It must have a just cause. So by that there needs to be a good reason that has triggered or has prompted people to consider war.
What would you give as an example for that?
So maybe an unprovoked attack of some description.
Okay.
So
a little bit like Pearl Harbor in the Second World War, where the Japanese attacked the American fleet.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
There needs to be a good intention as well. So as long as as well as a good cause or a good reason to go to war, there's got to be a good final intention that you've got as a result of the war.
Okay, and it's going to be bringing about good, isn't it? That just intention as well.
Yeah, so it could be to get rid of a dictator or a corrupt government.
And what about this idea of it should be the last resort?
Yeah, we've got lots of things in place now that can be used, but throughout history, Christians have said that everything else must be tried first before going to war.
So negotiations, all those types of things.
Yeah, and I think in lessons we looked at the word diplomacy, and this is where the kind of United Nations and all of that comes into place.
Okay, good, thank you. And then it's also supposed to have a good chance of being successful and bringing about peace.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no reason, no good reason to go into a conflict that's going to affect lots of people if there isn't a good chance of winning that conflict and bringing about the good intention that you had.
Okay, and slightly more difficult one, it must be in proportion. In proportion to what?
Yeah, so the in proportion bit kind of relates to what warfare is used, what weapons are used, what the fighting is that's carried out, and also in relation to the number of people that are killed, and particularly obviously we're thinking about vulnerable and innocent people. It's a difficult one because the weapons that we use are so different now to how they were years ago, but the level of violence and fighting must be in proportion.
Okay, so this is Thomas's theory, which is used a lot of the time by people, even till today, to explain why Christians could still go to war.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's very much about preventing war happening rather than using it to justify a war after the event.
So what is war actually good for?
Absolutely nothing.
Say it again.
Absolutely nothing.